everybody, and thank you for coming to my talk. It is CTRL+R, refreshing the SOC. First, a little bit about me. My name is Matthew Szymanski. I have a background in software engineering and offensive security. This combination led me into product security, where I then branched out into other security domains, and now I'm working as the Director of Information Security at Yext. Here's a quick session outline. We'll go over some of the pain points from the past, review key areas that we identified for improvement, and get into how we use the outcomes from the analysis to refresh our security operations program. So picture this. It's late on a Friday afternoon and your SOC team is wrapping up for the week. Suddenly, an alert comes in indicating unusual login activity on a critical server. But here's the problem. This alert is buried among hundreds of other alerts generated by your outdated SIM, many of which are false positives. Over the past months, the team has become desensitized to the constant flood of alert. So this alert goes unnoticed, and the team continues with their end-of-week routines. Over the weekend, unauthorized access leads to a significant data breach, compromising sensitive customer information. Come Monday, the breach is discovered not by internal teams, but through public reports of customer data appearing on the dark web. The organization faces not only financial loss and regulatory penalties, but also a severe blow to its reputation. This is a worst-case scenario for any organization. Now, thankfully, this was not the case for us, but the story highlights how our outdated SOC tools and processes can not only just be inefficient, they could also be liabilities. The excessive noise from irrelevant alerts masks genuine threats, and the lack of automation and streamlined workflows hinders a timely response. Stories like these helped motivate us to pursue a comprehensive SOC refresh for ourselves. And today I'm going to share with you how we rebuilt our SOC into a more efficient and proactive, resilient operation. So let's take a moment to understand the challenges that we were facing. These pain points are likely familiar to many of you, and they were the catalyst for our comprehensive overhaul. Our analysts were drowning in a sea of alerts, many of which were false positives. The sheer volume made it difficult to prioritize and identify genuine threats. Team morale was suffering due to the constant barrage of notifications. And we frequently encountered situations where log sources would just unexpectedly stop working. Troubleshooting these issues was time-consuming and often required specialized knowledge or help from other teams. Inconsistent logging led to gaps in our threat detection and investigation capabilities. Many of our processes were manual, this leading to inefficiencies and potential for human error. Routine tasks consumed a significant portion of our analysts' time, leaving less time for high-value activities like threat hunting. The absence of automation made it challenging to scale our operations as the organization continued to grow around us. We struggled to maintain this comprehensive visibility across the expanding infrastructure, and the gaps left us potentially vulnerable to threats that could exploit these unseen areas. Our SIM solution required a complex queries for effective threat hunting and investigation, as well as to create effective detection rules. This created a steep learning curve for new team members and a reliance on a few expert analysts, and the complexity made it difficult to quickly adapt to new threats coming in from intel feeds. Scaling our logging capabilities to meet the growing data volumes was challenging and expensive. We faced ongoing issues with storage management and data retention while trying to meet our budget requirements. Our case management process was fragmented across multiple tools and platforms, and this led to difficulties in tracking investigations, collaborating on cases, and maintaining context, which is one of the most important factors when you're in the middle of chasing down leads. Reporting and metrics generation was a manual and laborious task. Collectively, these challenges hindered our SOC's effectiveness and efficiency dramatically. They not only impacted our ability to detect and respond to threats, but also affected team members' job satisfaction. People were feeling burned out by having to constantly triage alerts that led nowhere. Burnout in a SOC team isn't just a personnel issue, it's a critical security risk. When analysts are overwhelmed, fatigued, and stressed, even the best security tools and processes can fail. And we've seen how constant alert fatigue leads to reduced attention to detail missed indicators of compromise, and slower response times. The ripple effect of burnout extends beyond immediate performance issues. It leads to increased turnover, which means lost institutional knowledge, adding training costs, and periods of reduced coverage while new team members get up to speed. It was clear that a change was needed, not just incremental improvements, but a comprehensive refresh of our entire SOC approach. This led us to perform some analysis and identify key areas that a SOC refresh would need to focus on improving. We needed to improve SOC metrics and be able to track them more effectively. But to do that, we needed to optimize our investigation workflows. The existing workflows were not well documented and could be complicated, often involving tons of open tabs and jumping between them to try and make sense of things. If you've ever been in this type of situation, then you know what I'm talking about. Ultimately, this led to case management suffering. Documenting the steps involved to come to a particular determination was time-consuming and can lead to missing information when in a hurry. Another difficulty we faced with complex investigation workflows is when sharing the investigation with other analysts. Keeping in sync with multiple tools and having to share links in an attempt to see the same data as another analyst adds even more time to complete investigations and was a very frustrating process to work within. There are times when you would like an outside expert opinion as well. This is especially helpful when it comes to managing an active incident or validating assumptions based on the data available. We needed to simplify our data architecture, creating clear pathways for information to flow into the SIM. This would allow us to have faster data processing and analysis, reduce the latency with threat detection, and more easily troubleshoot and maintain the system overall. By untangling our data flows, we would not only improve our reaction time, but also gain a clearer picture of our security posture. This would also allow us to integrate automations easily into our workflows. Lastly, we needed to be more threat focused. Part of the goals were to enable the team to have more time to perform thorough triage and analysis of alerts, designing solutions for visibility gaps, and enhancing detections, and spending less time managing the architecture. We also wanted to be able to collaborate more effectively within the tool sets that we worked with. Being able to view as much information and context as possible around alerts while also being able to quickly bring others up to speed was essential. These outcomes from our root cause analysis formed the core of our SOC refresh strategy. Each improvement reinforced and enhanced the others, leading to a more robust and responsive security operations center. So now that we've identified our challenges, conducted a root cause analysis, and determined our success criteria, let me walk you through how we implemented our SOC refresh. We focused on 5 key areas: data ingestion, threat detection, triage and investigation, response and reporting, and most importantly, how to work best as a lean SOC team. One of our primary goals was to enhance our data ingestion capabilities. We implemented a system that allows us to ingest data from any source at any volume without worrying about scale limitations. This also dramatically improved our ability to project spend throughout the fiscal year and eliminated our need to limit ingesting useful data sources due to stringent budget requirements. We chose to use Snowflake as our source of truth and logging mechanism. We are already a heavy Snowflake users at Yext, so this was a natural choice, especially since we wanted to store our own data in-house. This gave us the ability to centralize all of our security data in one place, create flexible data retention policies that balance security needs with budget constraints and legal policies. We also can easily query and analyze large volumes of historical data if needed right from within the platform. This has been a huge win for us. We are in control of our own data, and Hunters made this a quick and easy process. Basically, all we did was run some scripts to create schemas, set up the auth, and then started setting up and configuring data connectors for all of our existing log sources using Hunters integrations. Next, we established our data retention policies based on the criticality and compliance requirements and started training the team on how to use the new interface. Hunters provided a great training academy and even walked us through answers to some of our questions and showed us best practices one-on-one. This dedication to our success was definitely a positive contribution to how fast we were able to show return on security investment. Being able to leverage these integrations helped us solve for complex data logging architecture problems and allowed us to simplify our log ingestion strategy across the board. We have fewer limitations when it comes to how complex it will be to get new data sources stood up and have detection rules built around them. I think we have some pretty unique data sources. For example, our engineering teams use a log aggregation platform called Sentry. Working alongside our application security team, we developed a plan to strategically place AppSec-related logging into our built application code. These include situations that would send a log to Sentry if an end user were to try and access an entity that they would not have access to. For instance, by intercepting a request from the portal using Burp Suite, a malicious user could alter the payload and request parameters to attempt to access another account. Naturally, on the application side, a check is made while processing that request to see if that access is allowed. If that check fails, Sentry gets an alert. We integrated Sentry as a log source into Hunters so that now we have access to real-time information about malicious users attempting to exploit our system, including getting insights into what our bug bounty researchers may be doing. If you think about your own environment, I'm sure you'll come up with a decent list of things that can provide useful intel for your security teams. Hunters is very flexible, and I would encourage you to try and think out of the box when it comes to all of the information that you could be ingesting and build a list of use cases for your own organization. Moving on to threat detection. To address our detection challenges, we needed a solution that offered the ability for us to start with a generous serving of predefined rules, plus the ability to tune them, as well as create our own. As you previously saw, we have some unique detection rules for some unique log streams. The Hunters platform provided many out-of-the-box detection rules that are regularly updated based on the latest threat intelligence. This frees up time for the team to focus on fine-tuning things for our environment and our novel use cases. We quickly noticed the reduction of false positives due to the way the platform performs its threat analysis. One-off alerts with no other context or correlations were clogging up the old system quite a bit. Now we can detect both known threats and anomalous behaviors that might indicate new or evolving threats without having to create complex queries to tease that data out of the SIM. We leave building those queries for the nuanced threat hunting. Similar to a more legacy style SIM, we still have all the benefits of creating complex detection rules and the capability to perform proactive threat hunting based on industry threat intel. Using notebooks within Hunters, we can create reusable hunt playbooks for other team members to use or improve upon. The quicker you have the information, the quicker you can take action, and building a threat hunting program is an effective method of finding information that you can use to your advantage. I'm sure you're familiar with the MITRE ATT&CK framework. Hunters gives us visibility that we need to identify areas within MITRE ATT&CK where we may be lacking, then using notebooks to start turning over rocks and spinning those into detection rules. Measuring your progress using the attack matrix visibility graph will provide you a good roadmap to follow, leading you toward a comprehensive set of rules for your specific environment. After moving to Hunters, we spent time reviewing the relevant built-in detection rules and customized some of them to fit our specific environment, as well as our risk profile. We're still adding new detection logic as the environment evolves. It's just that now we can do it faster and more reliably while measuring our progress along the way. One of the most transformative improvements we've made to our SOC operations is our new approach to triage and investigation through the SOC queue. This has fundamentally changed how we handle alerts and conduct investigations. To streamline our triage and investigation processes, we rely mainly on the SOC queue, which is essentially a prioritized list of items that should be investigated. Queue items are automatically sorted based on multiple factors, including correlation with other data sources, risk thresholds for correlated alerts and leads, supporting evidence such as from threat intel feeds, as well as temporal relationships. When a threshold is met, these alerts are collected together and turned into a hot story. Hot stories are multiple correlated events that make investigations go much quicker. All of this is presented in a visual representation that enables us to collaborate across analysts and dig into investigations from a bird's eye view. This drastically reduced the team's alert fatigue and helped them feel confident that they were spending time chasing down the top priority issues. Our analysts can visualize correlations between different alerts and events while seeing the full context of leads in an interactive format. They can easily collaborate in real time on investigations while sharing insights and findings across the team. In this example that I created, you can see the who, what, and where of a particular set of events. This is an example of how you can go from taking time to investigate more than 18 individual signals into one consolidated investigation that includes all of them. Once you close out this story, you will have closed out all of the underlying alerts. This fresh approach was much needed to revitalize the process of case handling, and I'm sure you can see how this positively impacted our alert fatigue problem. We were able to reduce our mean time to resolve investigations by around 70%. The benefits of seeing the full context of leads in an interactive time series graph cannot be understated. Visualizing correlated attack stories and threat clustering builds a coherent narrative that sets analysts and the whole team up for success. By focusing on what's most important, we were able to reduce our false positives rate by 80%. Since alerts without any additional data to enhance the fidelity are automatically being analyzed further by the platform before being added to our queue. Overall, we were able to acknowledge, triage, and perform investigations and close things out around 3 times faster. Having a SOC queue is by far one of our favorite improvements over our legacy SIEM solution. To enhance our response capabilities and streamline reporting, while still maintaining the automations and instant response capabilities we had baked into our existing Jira project used for case management, we used a workflow manager to create a bi-directional Jira integration that fits the needs of our projects, existing labels, and various customization using the no-code visual editor. You can add code to the flows though. Using Python scripts, we were able to do things like change the format of data, create custom links in Jira issues, and trigger other automations by sending webhooks right from the Hunters platform. For instance, we use PagerDuty for our on-call rotation, so we simply send a webhook to PagerDuty for each item in our queue. PagerDuty then analyzes that and decides if it should kick off a call flow. We are still finding useful ways to leverage the workflows within the system, and it enables us to continue to iterate our process maturity while keeping things organized and reducing our architecture footprint. Some of the ways we have found to use workflows is simply around communications. For instance, at the end of a shift, the system automatically generates a report and delivers it into a Slack channel. This makes handoff for on-call rotations and team members easier since we can use Slack threads to pass along information. We get all kinds of useful information from workflows, and we can send it to just about anywhere. We even get auto-generated endpoint agent coverage gap reports delivered daily right into a Slack channel. You can make recipes as simple or complex as you like. Anytime you think to yourself, it would be nice to really automate this instead of having to manually perform this task, chances are you can use workflow recipes to do that. On top of getting metrics reports directly in Slack, we use the metrics dashboard to keep track of information that is most important to us. I created custom dashboards that I use for reporting different metrics to different groups. We have dashboards showcasing our day-to-day metrics, as well as ones focused on presenting data at the senior leadership and even the board level. We also have dashboards to show our application security alerts so that we can get a visual representation of all those Sentry alerts coming in. The system is extremely customizable and acts as our source of truth to identify areas of improvement as well as team wins that we should be celebrating. To support our lean SOC team, we leverage the expertise of Team Axon. We receive alerts about emerging threats and guidance on how to detect them in our environment, but most critical aspect of this for me is having the rapid response capability. Having a phone a friend available is always nice, but it's even better when that friend is an expert within the platform, as well as security operations in general. This rapid response team provides us with much needed assurances that if something were to become overwhelming, we have backup at the ready. By implementing these features, we not only addressed our previous pain points, but also significantly enhanced our SOC capabilities. The result has been a more efficient, effective, and agile security operations center. We have achieved our goal of becoming a threat-focused SOC. We started seeing value almost immediately, and while there is always room to improve, we now have a solid foundation to build those improvements upon. The journey from our legacy system and processes has taught us a lot, and we grew as a team along the way, learning from one another. No one plans to have an overly complex security operations program. It just kind of evolves into that over time, with people coming and going, changes in leadership, workarounds for things, and all other kinds of twists and turns. Sometimes it's better to just start fresh, and I'm glad we chose to go that route. As we wrap up our journey through our SOC refresh process, I'd like to share some key lessons that we learned along the way. These insights should prove valuable for anyone contemplating a similar undertaking. Our transformation has yielded significant improvements across all aspects of security operations. We've evolved into a threat-focused SOC, but this journey has taught us that success isn't just about implementing new tools. It's about holistic transformation. A SOC refresh isn't just about technology. It involves people, processes, and culture too. Addressing only one aspect, like just the tooling, won't yield optimal results. We established a foundation for continuous enhancement by understanding that technology is just one piece of the puzzle. Real success requires alignment of people's skills, their roles and responsibilities, as well as processes, workflows, and procedures and playbooks, then layering tools and platforms into that. Also, focus on change management. Clear communication is essential for success. Communicate the why, what, and how of a refresh to all stakeholders, involving the SOC team in the process to ensure buy-in and leverage their insights, because early and frequent communication reduces resistance to change. Begin with a thorough assessment by understanding your current state, pain points, and goals. It's critical before making any changes. There is no blame to be placed on anyone during the process. It's just about getting an accurate model of what your current state looks like. Create a blame-free environment for an honest evaluation. The more open everyone is to expressing their opinions on where they feel things could be improved and the most time-consuming aspects of their day will help you get an idea of what types of automations could be created to help alleviate the toil involved in repetitive manual tasks. Use metrics to baseline your performance. Coming out of the assessment, the goal should be to have a set of solid metrics that can be used to measure how effective newly implemented improvements will be as you make this journey. Prioritize automation and integration. Automation can significantly reduce analyst fatigue and improve response times. As you saw earlier, we're using automations for more than just the typical use cases. We use them to create a more collaborative environment for our team to work within. Ensuring your tools can integrate well to create a seamless workflow and stitch together information from multiple sources. It's a great use case for workflows. Create recipes that nudge the team in the right direction and inform everyone of the trends within case management processes to help keep everyone on track. Remember that continuous improvement is necessary and that this is an ongoing process. So regularly reassess and adjust your strategies as threats and technologies evolve. As you make this journey, you will come up with ways to improve upon what you already have built. Embrace the changes. and make sure your team knows that failing fast and using the lessons learned to improve is a good thing. Continuous improvement should be part of the team culture. Don't underestimate the power of data. Clean, well-structured data is the foundation of effective SOC operations. As you progress through this, you will learn that data is the most important and where having additional intel would be valuable. Invest time in optimizing data flows and improving data quality. The more context you can bring into a hot story, the more effective your investigation will be. Most importantly, invest in your team. Upskilling your team is as important as upgrading your tech stack. So foster a culture of continuous learning and adaptation. Our SOC refresh journey has been transformative, not just in terms of technology and processes, but in how we operate as a team. The investment in our people has paid dividends in improved morale, enhanced capabilities, and better security outcomes. Remember, a SOC is only as strong as its people. While tools and processes are important, it's the team that makes the difference between a good SOC and a great one. Invest in your people, and they'll invest in your success. Every organization's SOC refresh journey will be unique. Use these lessons as a starting point and adapt them to your specific needs and context. That's all I have for you today, but I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something along the way that will help you with your SOC refresh.